Hey, and we are the Coalition Loud and Proud. I think we're going to informally call this little quick session after every meeting, every review, the Chairman's Corner. How about that? Is that
Perfect.
Is that cliche enough? The content here is nothing if not original. Really tonight, you had your election just a brief few days ago, but tonight really begins, I'll call it the Charbonneau administration 2.0. You've begun to assert yourself on a collaborative basis, but to place your stamp back on the school committee again. And with everything that's going on, there's going to be a load of issues to discuss. So let's run through a couple of things real quick from tonight's meeting. Project management.
Yes.
Collier was apparently leaps and bounds with everyone who looked above it. Are they going to be the project manager for the next stage? And what specifically happened?
So, yeah, there was the previous leadership on the school committee had set up a scoring team to review the project management proposals. Those proposals were scored. Collier's, who we awarded the OPM services to this evening, was the top scored firm by a considerable margin, in my opinion. The other two firms both tied, and again, somewhat lower than Collier's, significantly lower. And the committee chose tonight to make the direct award to Collier's. And listen, Collier's has been around this district for the last 12 plus years. They've done a lot of great work here in the district. They've been valuable partners, and so I think we feel comfortable with the award, and we look forward to reaching a negotiated contract with them to perform those services.
How important is institutional knowledge to a firm like this, with regard particularly to this immense school district here?
Yeah, I think it's invaluable, right? Like I said, they've been with us, but they don't get this award just by the fact that they've been with us for 10 years, 12 years. They get it because of the work they've done. And I think that bore out in the scoring, where you had people from the city council and you had school committee members, you had facilities members, you had the director of school facilities for the district as well. And collectively, those scores put Collier's well at the top.
Excellent. The Inside Out program. We've seen it and reporting in other districts. Warwick, for example, was one of the first to put it in place. If you could talk to us about that briefly, because it seems like a wonderful program that is nothing but a win for the school district.
Yeah, I think, as the presenter mentioned, $100,000 to Pawtucket. My hat's certainly off to those teachers at Potter Burns who advocated and applied for that grant. And a pollinator garden with some sensory plants and the like, QR codes, and to make it a teachable moment for those kids. I think it's a great grant, great opportunity for our kids, and made possible by the teachers who took the time and applied for that grant.
Consistently over the last year or so that the coalition has been covering the Pawtucket School District, you see teams of teachers outside of the purview of their day-to-day classroom efforts going out and securing grants on a really almost an entrepreneurial level. How that type of spirit speaks well of the community.
Yeah, I think it speaks well of the teachers. I would like to see the community get as involved as our teachers are. They're out there. They attend the after-school events. They attend the ball games. They advocate passionately for their schools. To your point, they take on this entrepreneurial spirit of applying for grants and seeking other resources above and beyond what's allocated in our operational budget. So the credit belongs to the teachers for that Inside Out grant and all the other things that they do that go
the playground,
unnoticed.
the Kervin McCabe playground, all of that.
The teachers initially put in for that Kervin McCabe Everyone's Playground. They were awarded a grant, CBDG grant, for a couple of $100,000. I think when Miss Grant got involved and they looked at it and how do we make an accessible playground for $200,000, that's where the real collaboration came in with some folks down at City Planning, and Collier's, Kervin McCabe, and the school committee saw fit to take some of our capital reserve money to make everyone's playground that vision that Ms. Grant had shared with us.
No, it's an extraordinary spirit, and I think folks need to take a moment and reflect on that, because that type of can-do attitude simply doesn't exist everywhere. So it's marvelous to see. Now, a questionnaire, parents nowadays hear questionnaires, they get nervous. A lot of folks start to question the nature of the questionnaires. This one, however, seems to be completely anonymous, and participation is completely voluntary, isn't it?
Right, and I think that's why it got my vote of approval. I share, as a parent of two students who went through the Pawtucket School District, I filled out those surveys sometimes, and I opted out of them sometimes. I share our parents' angst sometimes at the surveys, but at the end of the day, it's the parents who need to make the decision on what survey they participate, which one they don't. And, this particular survey has an opt-out as the very first question, and that's why I think it passed unanimously.
A lot of good news on attendance?
Terrific news on attendance. I think, I don't think enough's being made out of what Governor McKee is doing on attendance. I think, he's been in the district. They've recognized some of our schools. And then tonight, what you hear is some staggering improvement in attendance. And I think a lot of that stems from the initiative the governor's put in place, and the fact that this district, teachers led by Superintendent Royal, have embraced that, and you're seeing material results.
The STARS reports. This literally has just hit within moments. Will the school department be focusing on that report, having a conversation about that report? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the STAR report is, we will certainly have a conversation with it. I anticipate that we're going to review the rankings, and we'll do that in public session. We want to be transparent. I mean, the STAR rankings are out there in the newspaper for everyone to see. And as I said at the last meeting, and in this meeting, and it will be my mantra going forward, we need to start moving the academics in this district. We're invested in our buildings. We continue investing in our buildings, and it's time to move the academics. I believe Superintendent Royal is the person to lead that charge. I believe she shares a great working relationship with our union president and union leadership. And that same can-do spirit that our teachers exhibit in searching for grants and that pales in comparison to the passion they have inside the classroom with these students. And so the STAR rating, we will discuss it, but I don't think we're going to get hung up on it. We're going to look at it as a starting point, and we're going to start moving.
And final point, and again, we appreciate you taking time with us after a full and rewarding day, and there's weather awaiting us outside. The coalition reported several weeks ago that there was going to be some upfront money provided to the school district. Now we're hearing rumblings about that potentially going forward, some additional GoFunding. Can you tell us anything about that yet, or is that still a conversation being held internally?
Yeah, maybe I should ask you if you can tell me more about it. But, I've heard, as I mentioned, I read it on your feed. It must have been 2 weeks by now. And subsequently, there seems to be a pay-go in the offering for the City of Pawtucket Unified High School. That exact number I'm not sure of yet, but it's coming.
And that hopefully will ease some of the startups and the ramping up that's going to take place to another wave of significant construction right here in Pawtucket.
Yeah, and listen, I think part of, whatever that pay-go amount turns out to be, I think we still have to have a real serious conversation about how do we afford this project throughout the duration. We can get started. We don't want to get started and be $20 or $30 million in and then start looking for where the rest of the source of funding is going to come from. So until we can sit down collectively as a team, the city, the school department, get the financial experts in the room and lay this out as to how this school gets financed and funded throughout the project, then I'll have a more comfortable feeling as our path forward. But I think to the governor's credit, the commissioner's credit, They went out for $1 billion in school bonding. And that's the biggest commitment I've seen to public education since I've been in the state the last 30 years.
Excellent. Again, Chairman Charbonneau, thank you very, very much, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
Pat, I appreciate it. Thank you.